Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. We're back on LMU. It's been a little while. It's been, a little over a week since our last race. We're back on LMU, and we're back for a new Thursday series. Yes, we have an EU versus US series. We've in the hypercar class we have the Porsche representing EU, the Cadillac representing US, both the LMDH spec with the hybrid on the rear axle, so should be fairly similar. The Caddy a little bit more difficult, especially under braking, low speed braking. It's a little bit more trickier than the Porsche, so might be a little bit of a challenge in the Caddy for us, but I'm looking forward to trying to team this car. In the GT3 class, we have Mustangs representing the US and Mercedes representing EU. Okay, so it's less EU versus the US. It's more Germany versus the US. Yeah, but two front-engined GT3 cars to go up against each other. Welcome, welcome. We are just about to get into qualifying. I don't know. Yeah, well, sure, we'll put that much fuel. I did practice a few practice laps about a week ago. I've done 2 laps since then, because I've been a little bit busy this evening trying to get a couple of things done. So, a little bit, a slight bit rusty. Of course, got to get used to the Cadillac, having driven and raced the Genesis last week. I haven't done any hypercar laps since then, apart from the 2 I just did, to make sure everything is working. So, yeah, gonna be interesting. No tire warmers on, so yeah, we'll have to take her on our out lap. Let us head out. Hear that engine fire into gear. Head down pit exit. Welcome, Geeky. We are just starting qualifying. To see how we fare around Barcelona, I have done a couple of races around here by now on LMU. Of course, we did the sort of launch races with SRL, or of course, one was at Silverstone Nat. But the first one was here with the ELMS cars. Ran the, of course, LMP2 around here. That was good fun. And then there was a 4 Hours of Barcelona special event a couple of weeks ago now. I also did that in the LMP2. So a couple of races LMP2, plenty of laps in it across those 2 races. But this is the first race outside of that in the Hypercars. No, this light doesn't have the Arbel chicane, thankfully. You will see shortly, as well, you can see on the track map on the left hand side, no chicane depicted on it. And of course we have the new, well, I say new, it's not that new anymore, it's a few years old. Turn 10, this sort of tightish but slightly more open left-hander continues on round. Leads you into turn 12 a little bit differently. And as we were just saying, no chicane on the back end. The 2 right-handers taken as fast as you can take them. Will not be quite as fast as the LMP2 cars in the Hypercars, even once we get the tires up to temperature. Don't quite have the downforce or the lightness of the P2 car, but will still be relatively quick when we do get the tires up to temperature. Of course, GT3 cars in the race will make things a bit tricky. The multi-class is very tricky around here with all the long corners. Hypercars might not be as bad as the P2 cars have been. Because And Hypercars, a little bit heavier, not as much downforce. They're a little bit slower through the corners than the LMP2s, but they have more acceleration. So that should, make it, you don't lose as much time in the corners behind a GT3, and it should be easier to, use extra acceleration to get in front. Very deep into T10. Trying to sort of learn braking points for a hypercar again around here. The previous laps I did were before the Imola race on Wednesday last week. So just trying to bed into it here. Obviously don't want to ruin qualifying by going for a spin, ruining the tires. I also need to take a little note of the fuel or energy usage before the end of the session. Once we've actually got up to speed, that is. Ooh, car not wanting to grip up for turn 12. That tire's still coming up to temperature. Yes, everyone's still getting up to speed at this point. Hi, Orbital. Gradually turning in for turn 12, much better than last lap. Car just biting more through the final two corners. How much do you need to bribe me to make sure Dave has an accident? I don't know. I mean, Dave might do it by himself. We were joking in the admin Discord. Dave was saying he needed to do some laps because it's first time racing Barcelona since on ACC, which had the old turn 10 and the chicane at the end of the lap. So I was joking, like, oh, make sure I'm not like directly behind him into the final sector. because he'll be using the wrong brake points, etc. Ooh, that curb's nasty. Okay, it looks like the fuel ratio is a bit high, but that's good. Means it can take a little bit of weight out of the car. .3 seconds off the top time. But currently sitting in P3. Still plenty of time to go in the session though. Six minutes. Rear end sliding a little bit through turns 7 and 8, sorry. Not running wide through turn 9 this time. The rear end just twitched a little bit in the early part of the braking zone. The front snatched for a very brief second in the later part. Certainly starting to push the limit of the car a little bit more now. 0.6 of improvement. We'll bump ourselves back up to P3. Front left's starting to get a bit hot. See how the rear just started to slide around, asking a little bit too much of the car under braking. Oh, car just feels understeery through turn 9, but that's because I'm used to the LMP2. .75. That's slightly out of track limits. Yeah, I'm happy with lap. We'll practice a pit entry here since we're just a little short to go for another lap. Shame though, it's a good opening sector. Find a 10th. Okay, careful with the brakes into the pits. Because the rears might just look. Maybe I'll move the brake bias. Please return to garage. Maybe I'll move the brake bias when we come into the pits. Okay. Take it easy into the pit lane. That's what I've learned there. We'll put on a new set of tires. Well, I remember. Fill fuel. Let me just see. 0.94. I think it was it said 0.86. I'm going to go 0.87. Because we will have to turn the whatchamacallit down for a bit. It was 2.75% a lap. Yes, so it'll be 36 laps. What times? Let's say we're doing 31s. The GT3 traffic will probably bring it down, the front runners down to that pace anyway. So 1 hour divided by 91. So we'll see 39 or 40 laps. Oh. If we can save 10% of energy per lap, we could go to the end without pitting. I think we have to try that. I think we have to try that. We have to use an average of 2.5% a lap. That's assuming a 40-lap race. The race, it could be a 39-lap race if it's a slow race, which can happen with GT3 traffic around Barcelona. Now, I haven't done any fuel-saving practice, though. So, it's, yeah. This is going to be interesting. Most cars are back in the pits. We're now 7/10 off pole position, but sitting in P3. Quite happy with that. We have 10 hypercars here today. We are missing one. 15 GT3s, one of which hasn't set valid lap time and has the warning badge. That's a little concerning. So yeah, looks like it's going to be a good battle for the win. But we're not going to be a part of that. For us, it's holding on to P3. Ooh. I'm a little nervous about the run into T1. Not quite sure where we're going to be braking on lap 1.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race
Right,
start.
minute and a half. We have full fuel. I'm just going to put an extra liter in just to be safe. Because we can't correct it at a pit stop if we're not going to pit. We have new tires. Pit lap 33 when we have 38 laps of fuel. Yeah. Yeah, this could be interesting. Grove the inside for T1. Hopefully we can get through cleanly. That's the main thing.
Formation lap has started.
I find funny how the tires are already dropped to 99%. I suppose so, it does make a bit of sense. Like, the game gives you warmth in the tires to simulate, oh, you've done 2 formation laps, I believe it is. You know, and this is the sort of heat we would assume, sort of average out at with 2 formation laps. But it's like, you're also usually then starting 100% tire wear. But, yeah, maybe it's taking a percent off now for that. Be like, no, you know, we'll give you the heat, but we're going to take a little bit of tire wear off, which is fair. Waiting for the start now.
Green flag, green flag.
Wasn't a great start, but didn't feel that bad of a start. We survive in P3. And now we start fuel saving. Great run through the final couple of corners has given us a gap towards T1. Of course, we've used too much energy on the opening lap, but that's all because of the formation lap. Oh, car feels understeered through turn 3 that time. Despite the fuel saving, we're not under any real pressure at the moment. Okay, we hit our target last lap. That's good. Let's open the fuel lift there. We clear the track limit, but didn't. Oh well, it's only a quarter. Oh, big snap for the car in front. A little bit wide. Yeah, we hit our fuel number again. We're being very good on energy at the moment compared to all the cars around us, and our pace isn't bad. Car in front seems to be struggling a little bit now. First GT3 car in front. Dave's also closed up a bit in the middle sector that time around. Find a little bit of pace that lap, so he did. I have to watch these track limits. A little bit wide for Dave behind. Rear end just started to slide there. Dave's a little closer than I'd like down the start-finish straight here. Dave got a load of understeer there. You could see the car wash out. GT3 car off in the gravel. Alfie in front of us is really struggling for consistency. He's making a lot of mistakes, which isn't normal for him. The annoying thing is it's holding us up. And backing us up into Dave. Alfie running very wide once again. I don't think Alfie's original plan was to fuel save, but I think he's changed strategy here and is just struggling to find a rhythm in fuel saving. Rear just thought about locking there. Currently a 39 lap race. I don't know where our exact fuel target is for a 39 lap race. A little bit of a trade starting to form. Alfie got so blocked there. Just pulling over early just to make sure Alfie didn't try and box us in. Three-car train here. Thankfully, none of them make it too difficult. This lift and coast will be helping to keep tire temperatures under control. I mean, the front right is a little bit cold, but certainly helping to keep the front left a bit healthy. Dave's got held up behind the Porsche there. The only thing is, with the less downforce of the Hypercars compared to the LMP2s, moves around the outside are a little bit harder. Rear just had a little slide. Gives get help up behind the Mercedes are the leading GT3, which is perfect because now we're out of the GT3 field and we've been gifted a 1 second gap. If Dave isn't fuel saving, he might be able to close it in. But the race, which is now looking like a cemented 39 lap race. You know, fuel save is still required to go 39 laps. You can only go 36 flat out. Alfie's gone set fastest lap for the race. Maybe doing a bit less fuel saving that lap. Now I've got past that lap GT3, which Dave had to go round through turn 9. That's really good, have compromised him. We have by half a lap of free air in front of us. Now that the gaps have opened up a bit and we're not in any GT3 traffic, now's the time that we can just sort of get our head down, focus, drive nice and efficiently for a bit. Couple of fast lap times coming in. Dave saying a personal best, just 1,000th of a second quicker than our time that lap. Also a personal best. That's a good benchmark time to have. And those flurry of quick laps have got the lap counter creeping towards 40. Likelihood it will stay at that point though. Unlikely. Not once we reach traffic again. Seven thousandths slower than our previous lap there. That is consistency for you. Got the car hooked up through turn 10 very well there. Wasn't the greatest opening sector of the lap, but was a good middle sector. Still some good consistency. There's the GT3 traffic again in front of us now. That was awkward. Didn't lose too much time though. So you may have noticed there, that's a good example. We were catching the Mustang and I lifted really early. Even braked more than I normally need to into that final corner. That is so I could get on the throttle at a normal point and carry more speed onto the start-finish straight. And you have seen the delta we didn't lose that much time down the start-finish straight that lap. Despite being held up by the Mustang a bit through the final corner. You know, if you get stuck behind the Mustang through the final corner, you have to then wait for the car to accelerate out of the final corner. But I didn't have to wait there. I could get onto the throttle at my normal point because I left myself the space. And we carried then good speed on to the start-finish straight. Does mean Dave has closed up a little bit. We're about 25 minutes into the race now. Per Mustang, creating a little bit of a sort of additional chicane, you could say, on the start-finish straight for us Hypercars. Grip, please. Didn't fuel save there that time, so we could get down the inside of the Mercedes. Just had to be careful not to overcook it on the brakes. We're slowly recharging our battery too, so while our fuel looks a little bit lower than VE at the moment, we will be able to turn the deployment up a little bit later. Lost a little bit of time with the car having a wiggle there, but Dave's had an issue behind. He's into the pits. Disaster for Dave. I'll take that bribe money now, Arbel. Told you he'd do it by himself. But we can twist the story saying, oh, in trying to push and catch up to me, he binned it. I don't know if that Mercedes made a mistake there by running in deep, or if they intentionally did it to let me through. Mustang, if you could not have a wiggle while I'm trying to pass you, that would be great. We've lost a bit of time to Zach Silver now that's behind us. AJ's a little bit of shame, but nothing that we can do about that. Zach has actually saved a little bit more energy than we have. Not that I'm concerned, to be honest. We're hitting our numbers. And we're... yeah, we should be safe to the end. Question is, if this is only a 39 lap race, we'll get to a point where we can start pushing a bit more, not saving as much. Question is, when we do that, will we actually find some lap time? Or will we just be burning more fuel, not actually going any quicker? Gonna get stuck behind this Mercedes now, aren't I? Timed it, I think, as well as I could. Right, need a good couple of laps. Now that we're clear from traffic, need to get our head down. See if we can open this gap up at all. We'll get away with that. That's a very minor lockup. Gotta be careful now of that front left. Put a little bit of a flat spot on it. It's gonna just get easier and easier to lock up on. I can feel it very faintly. But it's not much of an issue. As some understeer though through the penultimate corner. I don't know if that was sort of caused by the lockup. But yeah, that wasn't a great end to the lap. I can miss having Dave behind me. We've been a nice sort of blockade against Zach. Very similar lap times, that lap. I don't know how much Zach is fuel saving now, if he's pushing a bit more, or if he's still saving as much as he was. That corner scars me. bad final couple of corners. Bit of slipstream from a GT3. Nice, haven't had much of that this race. Zach's lost a bit of time, which is nice for us. Gap opens up to over 2 seconds again. Zach still has a little bit more VE than I do. Start and push that front left towards 90 degrees. That'd be a real brave dive bomb. Okay, please don't do that, GT3. Please don't. Like, it's kind, yes, but it's a little bit scary when you're expecting a GT3 car to turn in for the corner and they don't. Then you're kind of scared, like, what are they going to do next? And will it cause a crash? That was a little bit of a dive bomb. I mean, it wasn't too harsh. It was certainly viable, but it was an impatient move, that one. Just about close enough to do that on the Mustang. That was a real dive. I was actually a little bit unsure of whether I would make the corner or not there. The main thing, I didn't go too high on the brake pressure to make sure I didn't lock a tire. That's an easy thing. Like, when you think, oh, I'm maybe not making the corner, you hold the brake a little bit harder. And that's when you lock up and make a mistake. Did that 2 times at Imola last Wednesday. Trying not to make the same mistake this evening. Zach's got held up a bit, I think, through the penultimate corner. But we got held up a bit too, so the gap's still about 2 seconds. just over 20 minutes left in the race. Little snatch of the front left, but again, it was a very small lockup. Only 7 hypercars on the lead lap now. Very similar lap time to Zach there. So again, not much separating us. Well, I've just noticed the battery's nearly full. So I'll just turn up the deployment a little bit. I think we've lost a bit of time there compared to Zach. No, he'll lose time there. Yeah. I thought Zach would get past the Mercedes before turn 10, but no, he got held up into turn 10. I got held up into turn 9. I'm going to get held up here through the final turn. That Mustang's still sliding a bit through the final corner. Yeah, so Zach's definitely caught up there. You can see nearly 7/10. Mercedes went adventuring. Need focus now. Zach's starting to close in again. It's kind of weird how even it takes a second or so for the track limit to come up when you've ran wide out of the penultimate corner. Well, that's a horrible place to be parked. Okay, that lockup wasn't good. A little over halfway through our track limit points. Okay, and their end just snapping out there. I have very little confidence through. Again, that's annoying. I was like, I'm not going to go past this GT3, and GT3's like, no, you are going to go past. Understeer. No idea where that GT3 car's understeering off to. Am I going to get this Mustang? No. Zach ran wide. On the curb and it disrupted his momentum. You could see the sparks coming off the skid block. Oh, Zach's made a mistake off into the gravel. It's a short trip through the gravel, so the gap's only up to 1.5 seconds, but gives us some breathing room. As we're about to come up to some more GT3s. Hopefully we don't get held up here. That's a bit awkward. Yeah, I think Zach probably got held up a bit more than we did there. Through the final corner. Too deep into T1. 7 minutes remain. final lap risk has kind of come back. Zach got held up there, gaps up to 2 seconds. The game's then 39.8. Zach might get held up behind that Porsche, or Mercedes, sorry. That blue Mercedes. We didn't really lose any time behind it, but Zach might. Gap's now 2.5 seconds, 4 minutes to go. That means 3 laps to go. That's not on the plans. A little bit of a rear lock into T1. We survive, but it does cost us a bit of time. Zach's back within 2 seconds. Don't let the driving get messy now. Two laps to go, gap is 1.5 seconds. Lovely time for Mustang to come out of the pits. Oh, we're actually very close to a DT. I'm not allowed any more off-track adventures. Next lap will be the final lap. The last car I want to be stuck behind through the final corner. There's the gap. Gone. Oh, screw you, GT3. I spend all that time lifting to try not lose time behind you. To try not catch you through the corners, but you just bail out of the way anyway. Zach ran a little bit wide. I just see him drop back. Oh, wait, a big wiggle there off T10. And that's P3. Oh, how much we had? 2.2. Yeah, we nearly had an extra lap's worth of energy. I'm not sure if that GT3 is racing or not. They probably are. I think they had to do a splash and dash before that final lap. I think that Mustang's also racing. They've just come out of the pits too, yeah. Oh, that was good fun. Oh, nice and clean. We just absorbed the pressure. Yeah, hit our field numbers. Yeah, that's good fun. Nice to have a clean race as well. I mean, we had a few moments, but we kept the car under control. Didn't have any spins. So yeah, good fun race. A nice race, Barcelona. It's a fun track in prototypes, so it is. You know, all the sort of longer corners, they suit the you know, this lighter, more downforce cars than sort of the GT3s. So yeah, good fun race. Fastest laps were very close there. Yeah, I mean, well, that's 4 cars within what, a little over, within half a tenth fastest lap wise. Wow. Yeah, what race? That was good fun. I enjoyed that. Nice to have a clean race. It's been a little bit no big mistakes, small little lockups. You know, the rear going in a couple of corners, quite a few front lockups, but nothing too drastic, nothing too bad. Yeah, that was good fun. I yeah, that was good fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll be back next week for the next round, which is at, where's next round? It is at Circuit of the Americas. Yippee! I'm looking forward to Circuit of Americas. It's going to be a tough track in the Hypercars, but I'm looking forward to it because it will be my first race at the full Coda Grand Prix circuit. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a race around full. I've done a few I've done like 2 or 3 around the national circuit, which I'm not a fan of. First time doing the full circuit, looking forward to it. Yeah, it'll be difficult. Coda's a bumpy track. Got some tough braking zones and should be good fun. But yeah, it's gonna be nice to actually do a race around the full circuit. Not have like the S's interrupted halfway through for a bit of an awkward left-hander, and then that chicane that you jump through and have to like thread the needle with track limits. Yeah, it's not a great wee circuit for racing. Yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, that's when we'll be back next week at Coda. Yeah, hopefully can have a little bit more of yeah, hopefully it's a little bit more of of an interesting race. I mean, we were under a bit of pressure there, but hopefully it's still a clean race. Yeah, don't think I have much more to say to that one. Sorry, I wasn't reading chat through much of that race. I kind of had to focus a bit. I think GT3s were just being polite rather than deciding to defend. I mean, just taking the racing line, it's not defending. It's just running your own race. And that's just the way it is. The onus is on the faster class, the hypercars in this case, to sort of absorb the majority of the losses. When hypercar does make a move, yeah, the GT3 has to accommodate that move, and that might cost them a little bit of time. But yeah, they don't need to give up a lot of times to let the moves happen, and it is unpredictable. You don't want a driver doing that in a high speed corner where you're going to go around the outside of them. Think turn 3 there at Barcelona. Driver goes up out wide there, and then suddenly you're having to adjust your line to tuck in tight, and get the car turned in, and it's awkward. It's not that bad, but I mean, you go to the Mon and you go to the Porsche curves. Those corners are much faster. A GT3 just decides to drift out to the outside lane, trying to give you the inside. Almost guaranteed crash. Almost guaranteed. Yeah. So they have to be careful with it. Yeah. But yeah, they were all sensible. They were all, apart from that, well behaved. They weren't defending. They weren't blocking. They were just doing their best in most cases. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. But yeah, thank you, Thor. Thank you, Artie. Thank you, Geeky, for coming and chatting a little bit. Thank you to anyone else who was lurking through the stream. Hope you enjoyed the race as much as I did. But yeah, back next week. Till then, take care. Have a good weekend. Have a good start to your next week. I'll see you then. Bye bye.